Okay, hey, how are y'all? So I just saw a video where there's really big misconceptions, I guess, about adoption and what it's like. So I guess a lot of people are curious now what it's like to adopt a child and what that entails and what to expect, etc., etc. Okay, I was adopted at 14. I was supposed to be adopted at 10. I was also supposed to be adopted at 13. I had issues the families couldn't handle. Um, there's a lot of issues that comes with adoption. It's not just, hey, this is a little person for us to take in, or hey, this is a teenager for us to take in. No, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of work to be done. It is accepting another person into your family, but not another extension of your fantasy, I guess I can say. It's literally them themselves. Like, they are coming in as a whole different person, sometimes with whole different beliefs, definitely with whole different behavior. Okay? In foster care, I didn't learn manners. Okay? Until, well, actually, I didn't learn manners at all in foster care. I only learned etiquette. And I only learned that my last year in foster care. So I didn't have very good etiquette. I didn't have very good manners. I didn't have anything really going into my adoptive home at 14. I had anger issues. I had trust issues. I was very violent. That was an issue I struggled with. It was the main way I displayed my trust. I had cut off almost all of my emotions because of my trust issues. Back when I was 10, I had beat up a teacher of mine trying to get back to my biological mother. Because when I was taken away from her, I was 8 years old. And even though she was abusing me, to me, it was like it was normal. Because I didn't know there was such a thing as abuse. I thought she was just spanking me and it was something normal. And she didn't have me in school because she couldn't afford it. I didn't know about public school being a thing when I would ask her to go to school. So there's different circumstances for different kids. Okay, not all of us are well-behaved little, I don't even know how to say that. Just 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a kid. They're going to have trust issues. They're going to question you. They're going to question your motives about why you want them. They're going to have anger issues. They're going to display them. They're going to be sad. They're going to be depressed. They're going to be asking all kinds of questions. If they're a baby, they're still probably going to have some issues because between the years of 1 to, I think, for what I heard, it's like 5 years old are the biggest years that stuff happens. Like that you retain information. So let's say you're 1 year old and you already dealt with being left in a bathtub or being beaten or being something else. That's going to be retained in your brain because just at those ages, you're the most sensitive to retaining stuff. So that's going to follow you. Even if you adopt a 1 year old baby, there's still a chance they might not remember that, in pictures in their head or whatever, who did it to them or what happened to them, but it's still in their brain that something happened to them when they were a baby. So they're going to lash out at you because you adopted them. They don't trust what happened because they were 1 year old when that happened, but you adopted them at 1 year old. So they're probably going to project what happened to them onto you until you take them to therapy. You take them to like a psychiatrist. Help them work through those issues. Don't give up on them. Don't adopt if you're just going to give up on a kid. Don't do that. You have to be in it for the long haul. You have to be there for this child. You need to be prepared. Take the parenting classes they offer. Take the resources they offer. Talk to people. There is classes. There is support groups. There is everything. If you are going through something, somebody can help you. If you weren't a foster kid, if you weren't adopted, you don't know. So you need to figure out from somebody that does know a situation that you're going through, because somebody somewhere will know. I promise you that. My parents, when they adopted me at 14, they made a lot of mistakes. They have come to me since then and apologized to me and asked me for forgiveness because they've gone through parenting classes again. And this time, they've furthered their parenting classes. So they've got new techniques, better techniques of how to handle adoptive children and their issues. So since then, my parents and I are closer than we were when I was younger. Because a lot of the methods they would teach you when I was younger were not very good methods at all. At all. I was not receptive to them. It made me trust people a lot less. But since then, they've come further in the teachings, in the parenting classes, and everything. Just everything. I love the way that they are raising my oldest daughter right now. Like, I totally approve of it because it's the way I would have raised her if I could have. If I didn't have a situation at hand that I couldn't do so. So I'm just saying, if you can't adopt somebody, just pray about it, think about it, go to the classes first and see if it's even right for you, because they'll be honest with you. They'll tell you, some of these kids, a lot of these kids will have anger issues. They'll be a little more on the expensive side. It's, it's just whatever they come with, you're gonna have to be prepared for mentally before the fact, not after, because then you're gonna want to give them back. And then all that money down the drain, the child gets even more hurt, even less trusting, because they went to your home thinking, oh, this is going to be my forever family. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. This is going to be forever. They're going to be there for me. They're going to make sure I go to college. They're going to make sure, this is a loving family for me, yada, yada, yada. And you're just going to be like, oh, here you go. Back to the States you go, because we couldn't handle you. That's not how it's supposed to work. I had my caseworker who had adopted, when I was 13, who had adopted her daughter in New York, get mad at the family that was talking about adopting me because they gave me back, citing that I was supposedly the reason they were going to get divorced or whatever. When in fact, they knew from the get-go that I was going to have anger issues. They knew what they were getting into when they said they were going to adopt me. They met me before they were going to adopt me. I actually lived in their home for a trial before the adoption. So they knew who I was, what they were getting into, and the most I did, which is why my caseworker got mad, is I just cussed, I'm not gonna lie, and I yelled a lot. I actually did a lot less to them than I did to anybody else, because I actually cared about them, because I started trusting people at this point, because I started letting people in. Now, I got a little more upset once I found out stuff about my biological father, hoping that he would be a good man later in life, but turns out he was not. He was a very much worse man than what I had first knew about him. And so I acted out a little bit more, plus I found out my biological mother had died a year before that, so I was hurting, and I didn't realize, how to express it because I hadn't gone through feelings therapy yet. I hadn't had my emotions come back yet. Now I do. I cry, I laugh, I smile, all that. I don't have as bad of anger issues anymore. I still have a little bit of anger issues, I'm not gonna lie, But it's not to the point I get violent with people anymore at all, ever. I don't do that anymore. I've grown up. And my family kind of helped me see the worst side of me as well whenever they took me in. Because I would get violent to them. I still don't know what this is to this day, but my eyes would change like colors and shapes. Whenever I would get angry or whenever I would get sad, it was like different colors for different emotions. Some police officers at one point said it was mood eyes. I don't really know what that means, but my doctors would say it was a chemical imbalance in my brain from the fact that my mom was an alcoholic when she was pregnant with me. I was born with alcohol fetal syndrome, apparently. So, according to my older brother. But, yeah, it was a lot, you know, that my parents had to deal with. I would get violent after blacking out, after my eyes would change, and then I would have to cry to get out of it. And I wouldn't remember segments of what I had just done. So they dealt with a lot. I was constantly in and out of the mental hospital. I was a really bad child. I'm not even gonna lie. I was a very bad adoptive child. The state at one point said they didn't think I should be adopted. They said that I shouldn't be adoptable at all. They literally put that in my file. And my parents said they wanted to fight against that. And I'm actually glad they did, because my older daughter has a safe space away from her dad. And I had, you know, some issues with them, but ultimately I still had a safe place as well. I have a forever family, and that's all I ever wanted in the state. I learned dark truths about a lot of stuff to do with my bio family and people I thought I could trust elsewhere. And they helped kind of shelter me from that, kind of curb me from that until I was ready to hear these things. Because people know, and people knew, you know, my adoptive family and my caseworker that would take me to visits and stuff like that. They knew I was a kind-hearted person. I'm a very loving person, to the point that a lot of people have taken advantage of me since I turned my emotions on. So once they would tell me the things that they thought would hurt me, they would feel bad. So they would try to protect me, keeping it from me. Like how my bio grandma had snapped and she has been in a facility for people with bipolar. And so it was just stuff like that they would keep from me to try to protect me, because dealing with emotions back then, I would snap, and the first thing I would do is use my fists, and then I would half remember stuff. And it wasn't because I didn't want to remember it. I literally tried to the point I would get headaches. And so I had a lot to work through. I had a lot of traumas. I had a lot of therapists I went through, in and out of the mental hospital. So that is the type of reality some of the kids you will adopt have. It's mostly just garner their trust. Get to know them as the person going into your home. Go to these parenting classes. See what you can know before you decide on this big step, on taking another living person into your home who has their own sets of beliefs, has their own sets of problems that they need your help with. If you're going to adopt them, you need to be able to help them through their issues. You need to already have your own issues in check, at least mostly, if you can't completely have them in check, but you need to have them somewhat in check to the point that you can be their rock. What foster kids need whenever you adopt them is a rock, is a foundation, is a forever family, is people that care and love you unconditionally no matter what. Is people that when you say you are down and out, you are feeling upset, you are feeling sad, you're feeling angry, they will be there. They will hug you, they will talk with you through it, they will be there. They will They will not take advantage of your trust, because that's the main thing. That is the main thing. Adoptive kids, foster kids, everybody like that. Sorry. They get upset with is when people take their trust and they stomp on it. I had that a lot. I was moved around from house to house to house to house to house. Nobody loved me. Nobody wanted me. I was constantly saying I hated people even when I didn't, because they would constantly make me feel like nobody, nothing. Like, my first foster family got their license stripped away because they literally hurt me and my baby brothers to the point they threatened to kill us. They put me in a steaming hot bathtub of hot water so I would stop wetting the bed. My skin peeled off that day. I never knew anything like that. This was after my mom, mind you, right after, because this was our first foster family. So I was constantly trying to get away from there, and I was constantly trying to still protect my brothers when we were supposed to be protected in the state. Child Protective Services, and we were in a place like that. So whenever these kids are in this system, stuff like that still happens, okay? It says child protective, but it's not always protective. Some of these people are just in it for the money. A lot of them are, and they admit to that. They will literally admit it to the kids. They won't admit it to the state, of course, no, because they want to keep kids coming in their house. They want to keep that money flowing. You know how much I was worth? Why all these families wanted me? Apparently, I was over $1,500 a month. Just me. Because of my issues. So, and I found this out later, that I was over $1,500 a month once I was able to access my college fund. And to know people just wanted me because I had issues, because I was messed up, and because they could get $1,500 a month just for me. Not to mention the couple hundred for my clothes, the toys that they would give me or whatever for my Christmas and birthday lists. They literally just want the money. And if they didn't want to spend the money on your clothes, they didn't have to, because they gave it to them in cash at that point. The couple hundred would be in cash at one point. And at another point, it was in a check. But I mean, who's to say once they cashed that check in, they couldn't have just taken the money and gone haywall with that couple hundred for themselves. I got lucky. I had a good foster mom at the end. From 10 all the way when I was adopted at 14. Because the family in New York had sent me back to her. I was so ecstatic. I was so happy. I wanted that foster mom to adopt me at one point. The state wouldn't let her. And that's you know, fine, because I got a good family after the fact. Even though it wasn't her. But the point was, they had literally, I got a good foster mom after all that. She made sure I was taken care of. She made sure I was loved. She made sure that whenever I misbehaved, I was disciplined, of course. She had even gotten me out of juvie hold at one point. It was just the hold. They had taken my fingerprints and stuff because of the teacher situation. And she had came to pick me up. So she never gave up on me, and that is what started making my trust come up to the surface again. That is what made me start feeling things like love again. I didn't love anybody at that point other than my little brothers, and that was because of the stuff I had been through. That first foster home, the RTC, I don't think I can say it in the video, but I had another form of abuse happen to me by somebody I thought was my friend. And so I had went through all that. I was not able to be adopted with my baby brothers. They were adopted first, and that was fine by me, because at that point I knew I wasn't ready to be adopted. I was too far gone, I felt. Because I had so much trauma I remembered. They only remembered maybe bits and pieces of it because they were 2 and 3. I was 8 when I was first taken into the state. And then I was in the state till I was 14. So I was in there for a good about 8 years. And I had gone through a tremendous amount of abuse already before 10. So within 2 years' time, I was abused even more than with just my mom and people she had around. And my dad, I'm sure he did stuff to me because I have memories of little things he might have done to me. And my older brother said he was a bad guy, so it wouldn't have been surprising if he did. And so just bear in mind that some of us have memories, and even when when you get little babies, they won't have they might not. They might have, picture memories, but some of them might just have it in the back of their minds. Okay, because my one of my younger brothers, okay, that was adopted before me and that I grew up with, he said, he told me about a memory he has from when he was about 2 or 3, I think. It was from our mom's house. And it shocked me because I didn't realize he would remember something that early. But I mean, then again, it wasn't surprising because I had memories from when I was 2. It's just all about when stuff happened and what stuff happened and everything like that. But I'm just telling you from a perspective of somebody who has been in foster care and who has been adopted. It is not easy. It is not a cakewalk. It is not fun. It can be fun, but I'm meaning in the way that sometimes your child will act up. Sometimes there will be mega issues. But as long as you're prepared, you should be able to handle anything. And please, 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 I am asking you, do not ever send a kid back. You will destroy that child. You will destroy their self-confidence. You will destroy their trust all over again with people. You will destroy the love they garnered towards you. You will destroy them mentally, emotionally. They'll probably start lashing out all over again. I'm just trying to prepare you for anyone looking to adopt. Go to the parenting classes. Figure out what it is that you need to work on and that you need to have ready and that you need to do within your family already, the family you already have, before you take in somebody else that will have issues. All foster kids have issues in one way or another. It's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. It is another person you're going to bring into your family to be another member of your family. It's not like taking in a dog. It's not like taking in a cat. It's not like taking anything like that. And they should not just be money for you. If you're trying to just take them in for money, that is heartless, that is pathetic, and that is a horrible thing to do. They are not just dollar signs in your bank account. They are people. They are human beings, and they deserve to be respected, loved, and cared for as such. And they should be treated equally to your biological children if you have some before you adopt. Period. If you're not willing to treat them as a person or equal to your bio kids, don't adopt. Don't adopt them to be your little servants. Don't adopt them to be your dollar signs. Don't adopt them for pretty little images. Adopt them because you love them, because you want to have another child, because you want another member of your family, and because you're prepared to be their parent for the rest of their and your lives. Their forever family. That is what they asked us constantly in foster care. What do you want in a forever family? Forever. Not, oh, 6 months, I'm gonna send you back. Not 3 months, I'm gonna send you back. Not a month, I can't handle it anymore. You're too much, blah, 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 blah. No. Would you send your biological children back to somewhere? No, I'm sure you would not. So don't do it to an adopted child. Don't adopt if you cannot handle it. We all came with our issues. But as long as you don't give up, you keep us, you work with us, you earn our trust, you'll get love unconditional. Because all these children want is forever families. All these children want is to be loved and accepted by somebody, not abused, used, and thrown away like they've always been. And this is coming from somebody who, like I said, has been in foster care, has been abused, has been used, and who has been adopted. Despite the state wanting to give up on me. The state wanted to give up on me and call me not adoptable. My family fought for me. That's what should happen. You should want a child, you should adopt them, and you should make sure you fight for them. You fight for their trust, you fight for their love, and you become one as a family. That's the truth. That's the raw truth of adoption. The raw truth of everything. Foster care, family, and what it's gonna take to be there for these kids. Much love to you all. Bye.